All right, so let's get right to it. So, there's Steam Deck actually has three different versions. We opted for the 512 gig version, which is supposed to be like the Cadillac of Steam Decks, but we'll be we will be the judge of that. Attention! So many instructions here. We better read it because it's very important. Attention, attention. Plug in. Oh, we didn't figure that out. We didn't get a plug ready. We'll get it ready though. Now in the box, what all do we have here? All sorts of interesting stuff. This thing is massive. It comes in a pretty big case. Let's zoom that out a little bit. Your games are going places in this giant case. Garbage goes over there. Ooh. Fancy zip sucks. Come on, Steam. Come on, Valve. I guess it's supposed to be an easy garbage over there. Where is it? Where is it? It's locked. Oh my gosh, they locked it. Now get muted. Time out. One of those floor-size garbage bins? Yes.
So yes.
It is a floor-size garbage bin. What is that, man? We are doing an unboxing tonight. Before we get into some video games,
sweet.
trying to load up D2R onto the new fancy Steam Deck. So, what else is in this fancy box? Before I chuck this on the ground too. One other smaller box. This one can go over yonder. Valve contents. Oh, stickers everywhere. One fancy power cable. Fancy power cable. It's actually pretty nice. Let's see the output on it. 15 at 3 amps. Nice. So it should be a pretty quick charge then. I forget what the specs are on the battery. I'll have to pull those up so that I can see them. I thought I had that pulling up, because I'd like to give those out as I'm talking. 512. I actually had Steam pulling up, but my old PC loves to crap out on me at the most inopportune times. So hopefully the stream's a little less laggy than it was when we were spawning D-Clone there the other night. So
How much did you pay for that thing?
I don't really know. I pre-ordered it like a year or two ago, and then
Okay.
they said, "Hey, you can purchase that." Just hit purchase. I didn't even look at the price. I'm like, I don't know what it is, but I waited 2 years for this damn
I
thing.
want it.
I'm getting it. I'm not giving it up. So they said that you have 3 days to decide. I said, nah, I've decided I want it now. So
Cool.
all right. So it's a 45 watt Type C or USB Type C power adapter with 40 watt hour battery, 2 to 8 hours of gameplay. I wonder how long it will play D2R once we get this thing loaded up. So, and I don't trust that this battery is fully charged, so we're going to go ahead and climb under the desk and get it plugged in.
Yeah, that's definitely not going to be fully charged.
Yeah, so we'll do some climbing under the desk. Very first thing. Don't mind me. Wasn't like I prepped for all of
Dude,
this.
put the camera down. Put the camera down. We want to check out your feet while you're down there.
Shut up, you fucker. Which one? Which one? Not that one. This one. And over here. So many choices I'm going to need longer power adapter. All right, there we go. We've got power. Now, next tool that I need. Oh, what's up, guys? Thanks for stopping in. Catwar says, when's the next season? Next season is end of this month, or this season ends this month. And will be, I would imagine that as soon as they end it, they would probably be starting the next season right away. So every Discord notification. Oh my gosh. I'll tell people to stop talking. Oh, I should have stream on. Let me join disconnect voice chat here. And the Discord app actually has a nice little stream friendly version. I should get that out of there. It's up there. Hoodoo's got a timeout request. We should have a couple mods in the chat that can take care of that. All right. Next thing we need is a pair of scissors to cut this open. Man, Discord should not be this intensive. Good Lord. I think Discord takes more resources to run than D2R. Alright, we'll jump back in. Let's see if I can get into... Back in with the blue ring, guys. Alright, now can you guys hear me? I think you can.
Yeah, we hear you.
Probably a little less notifications going crazy on you too. So. Cut that little thing off. And then the magic moment. Don't be throwing up those faces there. Soda. Oh. What's this box doing?
Come on, win.
Hey, what's up, Vince? This thing
Nothing much. Just hopping on tonight.
is massive in my tiny gamer hands. I forget what one of the guys called them earlier, but it was
Griffey?
It was pretty nice. Actually, feels really nice, and it's a lot bigger screen than I was first imagining. So, you can see they opted for the PlayStation-esque controllers, which I actually prefer and like, with the positioning of the joysticks, which is kind of cool. Strangely enough, on Sony's newest mobile controller that they did for Apple, they actually inverted those, so it's more like the Xbox. But I actually prefer these joysticks at the same height. So D-pad feels nice. You can feel each individual clicking button, and it's really smooth on the joystick, so that's going to be kind of fun. They're a little smooth, so I can imagine for like first-person shooters, that could potentially be a problem. Might take some getting used to. So, but yeah, good feedback on those, and there's some extra buttons down here too. So that's actually kind of cool, because especially in a lot of like the PC games that you'd be playing on this, you kind of need a few more buttons that you can hotkey and select. So that's kind of cool to have some extra options there. So you got a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 trigger type buttons on the back. Looks like a couple of touch pads here, 2 joysticks, your D-pad, which feels like you got 4 individual buttons there, and then your X, Y, A, B, which I'll have to again get used to with games and the mapping of those. But I believe that's the Xbox type layout, the XYAB. Is that correct? Yeah, if we can show that there. I think so. Steam button and a dot 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 button, whatever those are. So we will get that plugged in, and it's nice, a USB C charging port. The light comes on there, show you that it's charging. Again, it's 45-watt quick charger, so that'll be nice for getting a quick charge in. And USB-C, so it'll work with pretty much all of my chargers that my wife and kids like to pull out of the wall and not plug back in where they go, and everybody's wondering what chargers are. So I heard one genius trick: someone was super gluing the phone chargers into the wall so that they could never be removed. That would only work until they come up with the next version of USB for all of us to have to buy new chargers. So. All right, we'll get that one.
Yeah, then
loaded
you
up.
just replace your whole outlet. You know?
Yeah, I actually had some friends who, like, their dad was a bit of a mad bastard and did that, and then the whole family decided to switch from iPhone.
I hope maybe one of these days Apple will figure out that it's not worth making an extra dollar here and there on every single cable, and just use whatever the standard industry practice is. But they're not ones to really comply with that for quite some time now.
Yeah.
I hear the EU is going to be stepping up measures on that, though. So
Yeah, the EU is changing up, adding some regulations, and there'll be more compliance when it comes to what isn't acceptable.
yeah,
It shouldn't really be noticeable though in the next. It won't be noticeable for at least the next 5 years though.
for sure. Well, interesting. So let's get this set up. We'll try and move this around so that you can see. Maybe we can get this to focus a little better here. Well, can't really see. First option's English there. We'll go through, pick English. Then we want our time zone. I'm not out in Pacific because I don't live in California with the cool kids. I'm in Eastern time zone. We get to set up our cool Wi-Fi and not share our password with all of you guys.
But Dwayne, you should be very specific with your time zone. If you're not specific, how will they know what time it is?
Everybody knows that it's 11:11 p.m. right now.
It's only 10:10.
Well, that's because you're in a different time zone, my friend. So, connection successful after you enter in your super secret Wi-Fi password. All right, now it's installing Steam. I was hoping it would come pre-installed with Steam, but they said, use our own data? No, we'll use your data.
So Dwayne, what is the plan for for stream tonight?
I am streaming right now, Blue Ring Tech. So we'll continue checking this out, get this loaded up, and then we'll switch over to some video games, which will be kind of fun. I'm hoping to get D2R loaded up on the Steam Deck so that I can do some fun trading and stuff on there.
You could you could call your tech portion No Red Rings.
No red rings, yeah. Blue Ring Tech. No red rings here. Until one of my videos is about fixing a red ring, but I don't know if any other tech manufacturer would be silly enough to just make their tech have a giant red ring to indicate that there's a problem. Microsoft got quite a bit of flack for that one, so. I guess it was really apparent when there was an issue with that Xbox. So.
There, and it was more the fact that it was just like that was the result of it breaking.
Yeah.
It wasn't even meant to be an indicator. It bricked red indicator ring.
There is a problem. Thank you for letting me know. You must go talk to technical support, who will tell you, yes, we realize there is a problem and your warranty will do nothing about it. Actually, they were pretty good with their warranty, as long as you were within like the 90 days that I think, did they end up extending it like out to a year or more? I don't quite remember.
Yeah.
I remember getting yelled at by a lot of angry customers who were pissed that their Xbox had suddenly stopped working, and the fact that we had to send those out to a Microsoft center for them to check it and let them know if it was even covered. Tell someone that their new Xbox they couldn't use for like a month. So, well, you can buy another one if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happened 3 days after the year. That's for sure. What was it? What was the black version of that Xbox? It was like the Xbox Pro or the 360.
Yeah. 360 Pro.
Yeah, that one. I remember a buddy having it and end up having issues kind of similar to that. So
Well, and funny enough, like the original gen, it was literally just a single cold solder that caused the issue. But if you didn't catch the cold solder quick enough, it fucked the whole board.
yeah. Well, I don't
Yeah.
think. See, and that was kind of the issue with it is that like no one really knew that it was a giant widespread issue. It was just like, well, let's just send this in, and then it was like hundreds of thousands of these things started failing all around the same time.
Yeah.
Whew, I thought I updated my internet. I did actually. I got my my good Wi-Fi back up and running, not running off of a silly little home. I got an actual access point set up again on my home router, so that's nice.
Awesome.
But this is a bigger update than lots of the PlayStation ones even, and some of those are pretty big. So
So, I don't know if you saw my dirty tip I gave earlier in Discord for
no,
unboxing videos.
but I'll check it out while we wait patiently.
If you if you're gonna do an unboxing, unbox it and do your install early.
New mentions. I don't see it. I don't see it. Oh, it wasn't at me.
I think I was replying to something he said like from hours before.
I'm looking for it. I'm looking. I don't know. I'll have to go search for it later. While I stare at this thing. Come on. You can do it. If you want to see. You'll be staring at this screen for quite a while. Quite a bit.
But yeah, Dwayne, if Tinder doesn't take me out, there's a beautiful base and some chains of honor I have to roll out later.
Sweet. That sounds fun. Either way, it sounds fun.
Oh yeah, it's always good.
No clue what's going on. The same thing that's been going on. Lots of updates. So this is the most exciting part. I do want to talk about this case though. So I don't know what all of this is. There's some sort of soft like. Oh, it must be like a power cord sack. But it's got like this little hideaway spot. I don't know what that's for. Maybe you can mount that onto like a headrest of a car and then strap your console in and watch videos and whatnot. That'd be pretty cool. That's exactly what that reminds me of, are the like headset straps for strapping a car in there. They're strapping it into a car, but kind of neat. It actually feels, it's a good case, so props on them for doing that, providing a good sturdy case. It's actually solid inside. It looks soft, but it's solid in there, and it's got like a cloth covering, which is nice, with a little handle. So that's pretty cool. I don't know if I'll use this quite so much. I don't know, to shove a charger in and then hide it in here. It's kind of a weird design. Tuck it in there. hides in there like that. But obviously it's, you know, it's not going to tuck in there as neat as when they packaged it up. Oh, look at that. Now it's smooth. Smooth, oh yeah. But yeah. How well does it fit? If it fits, it ships. Yeah, I think this will last, actually. It's pretty high quality, so I'd like to see that they didn't skimp on the quality of the case. Mod the OS to Linux. Well, so I did some thinking about the OS, and I think that I'm going to keep the Steam OS on here. So in the Steam OS, I'm trying to remember the name. Is it like Proton or is it Proton? Yeah. So in order to run Windows apps and games, you can dual boot it with Windows, which is my first inclination, is to run Windows on this thing and then do everything that I wanted on a PC, configure bots, configure games, and you know, all that fun stuff. But I really think I want to try out the Steam OS, give it a shot, and probably turn on developer mode if I can, to, you know, try and help them with bug fixes and things like that, and really help them drive this, because I like seeing new operating systems, and especially ones that's geared towards gaming. And if we can get interoperability between these things, I think it'll really be helpful. And I think it'll drive competition within the industry. So I think it will help kind of Sony and even Microsoft in some ways open up and want to do a little bit more cross-platform type things. Microsoft kind of sits in a place where they're like, yeah, we're open to it as long as you know, do things on our platform, because they have the largest platform on PC with Windows, and you know, they've got a pretty big, you know, market with Xbox as well. So that being said, I would much rather see it being a two-way street than, you know, than just one way. And Sony's come around a little bit. They've kind of played a little bit more defensively with Microsoft. And I think a lot of people view that negatively on Sony primarily, but they're coming from a place of, you know, Microsoft isn't budging, and Microsoft's like, yeah, we can do cross-platform stuff as long as you play by our rules, and instead of, you know, it being kind of a you know, co-op thing. So, but we'll see. I think this will help, quite honestly. And I do, you know, I think Microsoft is more open to running their Xbox division as a software and services company, as opposed to simply a hardware platform. And Sony's coming along. They're integrated really well with Android, with Google already, so that's worked out well. They've created a platform so that you can play the PlayStation, you know, things on Microsoft Windows, so that's nice to see. And they've done a great job working with Apple for allowing Sony platforms to either do remote play, you know, the video game integration, things like that. So, and if you can get along with Apple, I think you can get along with just about anyone. So, not that I hate on Apple, but they do like to do their own things as well. Yeah, and that's kind of the nice thing about Linux, right? Is that you know, being open source, you can customize it and create your own. So, but that being said, anybody who's worked on Linux knows that it requires quite a bit of work. There's its own bugs, and having a smaller user base, sometimes it's harder to develop for those and to find all of those bugs before it gets out into the wild. So, Steam OS version 3.0. See, they even found some issues already. They're on their third version. Yeah, not counting money from ruining movies. What, you don't like the Spider-Man series? Come on. Those are pretty good. I like Spider-Man. This is still installing. This definitely takes a long time. I'm gonna have to fast forward through a lot of this, a lot of waiting around and sipping on cold beverages. So, Bloodborne remake. I downloaded Bloodborne. I love the Soul series, but I never played Bloodborne, and I downloaded it on my PS5, and I was like looking for a game to play, and I was gonna start it, and I just never started it. So then D2R came out, so then went all my free time. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Soul series, so I platinum, so I got every trophy for the original Demon Souls, then Dark Souls, which I think was the second one, and then Dark Souls 2 came out. I got the collector's edition of that game, like with the giant trophy. I should get it sometime. It's got a bunch of dust on it. The box might actually be falling apart. But I never opened it, actually. I never opened the collector's edition of that. It's just sitting around somewhere. And I never played it because I think I got into like the next Call of Duty game at that point in time and just never played it. Because those games can sometimes take all of your free time in gaming too. So maybe it was Dark Souls 3. I'm pretty sure it was Dark Souls 2 that I never played. So I absolutely loved that. Was it Demon Souls came with the PS5, a remake version of that? Of course, I had to play through that again. That was awesome. But didn't play. I haven't played Elden Ring. That's one of those ones on my wish list of playing. I do want to play Elden Ring. I also want to play Horizon Hidden West. I think it's Hidden West. Or what's it called? Yeah, it's Horizon. The new Horizon game. Something West. But that was the one that I wanted to pick up this week and start getting into, so. Yeah. And, I mean, it should be better, too, right? It's, they've had a lot of time to, play through all of it. I really like Demon Souls because it was the real, like, gritty, dark, gory type fantasy game that I really love. Part of the reason I like Diablo is like that dark lore and all of that stuff. It was just challenging. It like reminds me of old games, that I played when I was younger, where it was just that challenge level is way up there. But once you complete those challenges or you get through it, there's a huge sense of satisfaction and reward for getting through it. So it's almost so hard that it would feel impossible at times, but then you figure out how you need to do it and you just get better. You get good. All right, sign in. Ooh, this is going to be challenging. Sign in for my Steam account. You guys remember all of your username and passwords? I've had to change all of mine fairly recently because every time I have a big stream, a bunch of people start trying to log into accounts, and so that's fun to go through. That's right. They only got one bank account last time, so none of that this time. They just got an old email account this time, so. All right, we will pull that up. My Steam username is very super secret, so none of you will guess what that is. We will remember this shortly. One of my password vaults has the correct account password. If anybody can provide me the minimum password requirements, it might help me. Oh, you can jump in Elden Ring. So that's actually negative to me. That's when I quit playing Call of Duty, was when they included jump packs. So it's kind of a sore spot for me. Jumping in Elden Ring? I mean, come on. You had to have some skill to PvP with just being able to roll out of the way. That was pretty... I don't know, anybody remembers like light armor rolling PvP is trying to backstab each other, like the first person who pulled it off perfectly won, basically. That was that was a lot of fun. Okay, what we will do is... Oh god. We've gotta reset our password because who fucking knows which one it is. And apparently it didn't save, so... So we'll get a text for entering in a code. So if you're waiting on your Steam Deck, make sure you have your username and password handy. Oh, it says it has one now. What the Ha! That is actually kind of funny. So, oh, the nice thing here too, I figured this out really quick. You can actually tap anywhere on the screen and it pulls up an on-screen keyboard. So you don't have to fumble around trying to, like, this is one thing that I hate about PlayStation is you've got to like fumble around to enter in these codes each time. Which there's a couple of workarounds, but this is really, really just fucking easy. Like you can pull this up and tap right on the screen, super easy. So kudos to Valve for that. That's awesome. All right, we'll type in my super secret username. Can anyone guess what my username is on Steam? Who guessed it? Who guessed my username? Steam Guard. I'm being guarded, guys. Sent to your old email address. You'll never guess what it is. I don't think it'll work for you. Probably doesn't give you any super secret information there, but we'll find out. All right, your Steam Deck is ready, but held only less than a minute. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's funny. I've already purchased it. Thank you for letting me know. I had 1 minute left to buy my Steam Deck. It's a PC in my hands. Yeah, that's what it's cracking up to be so far. Welcome to Steam Deck. Press any button or tap the screen to continue. Can I press a button? There we go. This is the Steam button. So this button over here, Steam button. If you couldn't read it, it says Steam on it. Right about there. Steam. Oh, cool. It does have a micro SD slot, so I didn't even notice this. But right here, there's a little micro SD slot, so I'll definitely be loading that up with something to store a bunch of useless games that I'll never play. Speaking of useless games, you guys, if you have never played Faster Than Light, I have played so many hours of this stupid game, and I'm gonna play hundreds and hundreds more hours of this. If I can find a way to stream this, you guys be prepared to be like bored. No, not bored. I love it. It's a cool little strategy game, faster than light. If you haven't tried it out, definitely check it out. It's playtime right there, 351.4 hours. That's not even all of it. No way, because I played a ton offline, where I've just played the game itself. So that's just what's tracked online on Steam. So that's a fun game, really cool. All right, let's see. So I've got all my games. So we've got Torchlight 2, all of the cool old games. Look at this. I'm gonna have so much fun on this. You can play all the old games you have. I've got Star Wars Force Unleashed 2. Talk about another game that I never actually played. I bought, again, the collector's edition of this game. I loved Force Unleashed. Loved Starkiller storyline. Never played through Force Unleashed 2, so I'll probably play through that one. We got the old Jedi Knight games, Star Wars, Starfighter, all sorts of Star Wars games. Yeah, there's Force Unleashed. So many Star Wars games. Knights of the Old Republic, Battlefront 2. Battlefront was a really cool game. Knights of the Old Republic, bunch of cool stuff. We got so many games, so. How long was my wait time? I pre-ordered this as soon as you were able to. So, oh, shoot. It's been a long time. I wonder, I've got the old email, so maybe I can check it out. When is my oldest email? Maybe it wasn't. 7/20/2021. Was that when you first could? July of 2021? Is that right? Yeah. Yeah, it looks like, so about a year. And then they gave me 3 days to actually buy it. They said, hey, yours is ready. Do you want it? If not, we're fucking shipping this to someone else. It's like, but it's mine. You can't do that. A-holes. So, what I'd like to do, there's a couple steps here. I want to get D2R on this. So, let's jump into what we need to do. Okay, so we've got a couple options here. We can press and hold the power button on the top. So you got your charger in here, and I'll leave this plugged in for now. Actually, yeah, we'll let it continue to charge up. But this power button, if you press and hold this down, we'll watch on screen to see if we can see what it does there for you. If you press and hold that down, you should get the option to switch to desktop, which is right here. And that'll switch to desktop mode. So there's a few like Steam shortcuts. So the other one that they wanted me to show you was pressing the Steam button plus X, and that'll open the on-screen keyboard. But I've already figured out an easier way of doing that. You can do the Steam, the Steam button, which is this one over here, and the X button, which is this. Again, this is going to take some getting used to for me because I'm used to the PlayStation controller. So the X is the one closest to the joystick over here. So what would be square on the PlayStation controller is X. But again, Steam plus X will open up the on-screen keyboard. So you can see that there. But way easier is just any text field, you just tap it and that on-screen keyboard pops up, and that seems to be pretty universal. So that's pretty cool. Another one is Steam button plus A, which will force close. So think of it like your task manager type button. Steam A, which again, that's kind of something I'll have to get used to, but A is like your X button would be on PlayStation. But other folks, it'll be pretty easy to pick up. Basically, Steam and that will close that stuff up. So. All right, so then there's other things that, like, if you want something to show up in your other views, that they have to be added to Steam. So Steam is an app that's running on this, and in order to see it in that other view that we were just in, you would need to basically have the option selected for it. So when you install apps here, and if you want it showing up in your other view, so games, for example, you need to have it added to Steam if you want to see it while you're in that gaming mode. So you basically right click on those and then select the option that says add to Steam. Now the other one is using the right trackpad. Basically, that moves your little mouse cursor around, and then you've got your triggers on each side, which are your left and right mouse clicks. So, and it says triggers, but maybe it's top and left. There's just no options here. So let's see. Yeah, so there's that option. Kind of hard to do upside down. Right trigger, what I would think is right trigger and left trigger, but those are actually bumpers. So I'll have to mess around with that to see how that actually works. Okay, so, and this is another thing I read a little bit about. So it seems like the Steam Deck controls are kind of customizable for each of these games, and you'll have to mess around with some of them. I'm thinking a lot of them will have like default profiles, but then they may require some customization. So I would think that for the most part, it's going to pick up like a default, controller layout, but it may forget or may not utilize. So we'll flop this over here, these extra buttons here. So you've got your standard kind of trigger buttons up on top, but then down a little bit lower, you've got these extra, buttons that you can also configure. And we'll move this over so you can see that there's actually two sets of these. So on each hand, you can use your pinky and extra fingers for tapping those. So again, it's going to be different than your standard gaming controller, or like I say standard, but your Xbox 360 or PlayStation controller. Okay, so there's some settings that I wanted to do, which one is installing Proton Qt. So I need to look up exactly where I find this. And I may just have to search for it, but yeah, there's just a download. So we'll open up Firefox. We'll search for nope. Seeing that's not working there, so we do have to do Steam X, and we want Proton. And I'm just going to search for that. See if we can find that. Proton Qt. We'll have this loaded up here so it's easier for you to see. So, applications, search for... Oh, we actually need to install this here.
Damn it! I wish you people would just
Hey, what's
leave
up,
me
Aaron?
alone. Oh,
Don't
You're
mind
new
us
here,
as we're
aren't you?
fumbling through this. So let's take a look at the applications they've got. There we go. Wow, they've got lots of different apps on here that can load through. Yeah, so it definitely slows down. You can tell when you're going to install an application. So, and I had those quick steps up. I thought it was trigger in order to yeah, it does say triggers for each mouse button, so but maybe not. And I want to scroll, so that would be the next nicest thing is scrolling. Okay, I guess that makes sense. You click down and then scroll. Okay, so it said triggers, but actually how this is configured, and I don't know if this is because it updated compared to when I got the notes on this, but instead of it actually being the triggers, and this actually feels a little bit nicer, is you select with kind of like your R3 or L3. So R3 is right click, L3 is left click. That's much nicer than trying to fumble around with these up here. So what we are searching for, I thought it was called Proton. So we'll do Steam X again for this. We'll type in Proton. Proton Qt is what I wanted. Yeah, and that's not actually available there, but there is Proton desktop menu entry. So I'm wondering if this is actually already done. So just pulling up some more notes here to see if we can get these Blizzard games installed onto the Steam Deck. Because I'd like to do that and then play a little bit. Oh yeah, so this looks just like your standard Steam library. Cool. Yeah, so that's no different than. And then you can return the gaming mode. Return, I said. Well, yeah, that's pretty cool. And one thing as well that I want to point out is that I kind of notice, so this thing gets warm. Already I can tell. So it's got some, some areas there, but right about here, you can definitely tell, and you can kind of tell, you've got your heat sink output right up top, but this thing is getting warm. Probably right around here is the warmest, so I'm willing to bet that's where either the GPU or the CPU is sitting, because it's noticeably warm. Obviously, you probably won't have your hands over there. It's cool to the touch over on the left-hand side, but your right hand, you'll notice it gets pretty warm over here. So time will kind of tell if that gets uncomfortable. I guess when you're actually holding on the controls, it's not so bad, but if you hold it under here, it's definitely gets pretty warm. So that's it, guys. That is the Steam Deck 512 gig. Pretty cool. We'll get some more videos up. We'll get things loaded up with Blizzard games, which I know everybody's kind of excited to see. Yeah, and kind of go from there. So we'll do some more videos of this, playing around with it, get some things up for everybody to check out. But if you guys have any questions or anything you'd like to see done with it, I love messing around with these things, so probably won't be tearing it apart too quick. Again, I do plan on utilizing some of the developer aspects of it to try and help flesh out some of the bugs that may crop up. But I'd love to test any of those. If you guys have one and you're running into issues, let me know. I love troubleshooting, so definitely go through and check stuff out. Love some of the suggestions for future videos, so we may come up with that. So, all right, guys. Well, it's been cool checking this out with you all. We'll switch over to some video games here shortly. Peace out.